Hello, everyone, and welcome. Whoa, this is bright. Let me see if I can adjust this. I'm learning how to do this. Okay, there's lots and lots to do today. We're going to do Mercury Retrograde and Feng Shui to make the most of this Mercury Retrograde. And I love doing these lives. It's been so much fun. And I have lots and lots and lots to share with you today because this is my favorite time of the year. And this Mercury retrograde in Aquarius is amazing. It's all about making breakthroughs. It's all about upgrading your life. It's all about creating space and being prepared and dialing in the details. So we're going to talk a lot. I'm going to share some of the things that I'm doing for Mercury retrograde. I want to hear what you've been up to for Mercury retrograde. I want to know your thoughts about Mercury retrograde, because if you don't love it already, I'm committed to you starting to love it. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dana Claudat. I'm a modern Feng Shui master and founder of the School of Intention, which is a radically new whole school of Feng Shui, which is based on infinite possibility, creative awakening, and your intention, or your client's intention if you're doing it professionally. The School of Intention training program is starting soon. And if you want to be a Feng Shui pro, the link is in the description box for you to get all the details to learn more and potentially join us. And also, we're headed into a season of wealth. And we're going to talk more about wealth in Mercury retrograde because it's a very abundant Mercury retrograde. And so if you want to do more wealth feng shui, the free wealth feng shui videos are also, I believe, linked below. And if they're not, I will add them. So now let's get into this. And I'm pointing out some projects that I'm actually going to be doing for Mercury retrograde, including the pot that's on the way for this tree that is behind me. That's gorgeous. That's on the way. There's little details that are on the way that I'm so excited to share with you. So first of all, what is Mercury retrograde? In a nutshell, it's a lot of things to a lot of people, but it's really a time where Mercury, the planet, slows down in the sky. And this planet has a lot to do with our communication. Sometimes people think of it as your inner thought process. It also has a lot to do with travel and motion. But when it slows down, people think that everything goes haywire. It doesn't. When it slows down, it is a message for all of us to slow down too. When we slow down and lean into the Mercury retrograde vibes, right? Instead of trying to speed up or predict that things are going to happen that aren't good, when we slow down as well, you get into a space where you can make, I'm going to lower this for a sec. Okay, better. You get into a space when you slow down where you can make big adjustments that make your life more prosperous and that make everything you do more amazing in so many ways. So in Aquarius, this sign that has a lot to do with this lightness of being, this innovation, quickness. Aquarius is very quick. Mercury retrograde is more slow. This is about finding all of the quickness of your intuition, all the quickness of the details. This is about dialing in the details so that everything shines, bringing more creativity to everything that you do, innovating, intuition, making breakthroughs. Amazing. So, if any of you have any negative thoughts about Mercury retrograde and what's supposed to happen, think about it this way. What you expect, you get. So stop expecting it to be anything but incredible and lean into all the positive, amazing themes. So the first thing we're going to talk about is detail. Detail is everything. Detail is such a beautiful thing to think about because detail doesn't mean that you have to tear your life apart. It doesn't mean you have to redo your whole house. It doesn't mean you have to just completely transform yourself. Detail is the small moments and bringing more to the small moments that make a huge difference. So let's talk about some small moments that you can shift to make the most of this Mercury retrograde in your home. So as I said, I'm going to be sharing lots of projects that I'm doing to inspire you to bring lots of projects of your own into this time. So this is happening right now, all the way through the 20th of February. So got a little bit of time here, I think 16 more days to get some projects done that make things better around you. So as I said, I have giant plant pots coming. I've repotted some plants into gorgeous, gorgeous pots that I found for really super, super cheap, which is great. There are lots and lots and lots and lots of resources. What are the things, the little things that bug you? For instance, that tree, I was looking for a pot for it forever. So I bought, let me grab this. I had bought a basket for it to go in. I'm buying a different, it doesn't really work with this tree. So I'm getting a different tree to go in this basket. And I'm working on getting the basket to take its shape. But so this basket is going to be part of a different tree, but I have pots coming for that. Another detail that bugged me in my home was these little small things. It's always these little small things. This organization in a drawer, a little small thing. My desk needed more energy, so a little small detail. I got a gorgeous amethyst, and this was also such a great find. And it brings so much power to my desk, and it's so sparkly and dark and bright and beautiful. So what are some details that you can take advantage of? What are some details that you can get into? Maybe your plants need to be trimmed and groomed a little bit. Maybe they need to be dusted. One hot tip for all of you, if you have to dust your plants, is to use a paintbrush and go through and sort of gently brush. Don't use a stiff paintbrush, but a soft one, and gently brush the leaves and clean them. You can even wipe the leaves down of your plants. This might sound like such a small thing, but it's the attention to the detail that creates the magic. Really, really powerful. The attention to the detail creates the magic. Can you think of, as you're watching this, some details in your home, these little things you see, the door that creaks when you open it, there's the curtains that need to be ironed, like any little things that you see that you go, I'm going to do that. Really think about this, because it's these small things we're picking up energy all the time, things that annoy us, things that grate on us, things that we try to block out, and yet they're registering, right? And it doesn't take much to switch these things. So get into the detail and you will be so psyched. The second part of the detail of this retrograde is the detail of how you do things. Showing up with more of you engaged. So how are you doing things? How are you doing things lately? Do you feel like you are really showing up for the things that you're doing, little day-to-day things? For instance, how you make your bed in the morning. How do you make your bed in the morning? Do you just kind of throw it all together, or can you spend an extra minute kind of making the bed a little bit more nicely? And you might think, like, what is that going to do? It does everything. These little things do everything. Do you have a friend who almost is like painfully detail oriented to the point where you're like, oh, I used to have that friend and now I've become that friend because I used to get so annoyed. And then when I started to understand there was a reason why I was so I so admired, even though it was annoying to me, admired that kind of attention that people put into these details. They bring everything to life because they bring you into your day in a more powerful fashion. So when we're talking about empowerment and you're manifesting and bringing things to life, take a few minutes to make your bed. Take a few minutes to make your coffee extra special. Take a few minutes, or take 1 minute or 30 seconds to plate your food in a way that makes it look a little bit more pretty. That doesn't take much, right? Even just sitting down and having dinner no matter what you do with it, whether you toss something from the freezer in the oven and then you eat it, doesn't matter. Sitting down and taking the time to actually just be there and have that experience. Those types of details communicate volumes. For those of you who patronize small businesses, coffee shops, lots of creative people, craftsmen, you're probably drawn to the specialness of what they create. And everyone will be drawn to the specialness of what you are bringing to every day. This is a really simple thing, but I'm telling you, it's just so beautiful, and it helps you to slow down. It helps you to stop racing in your mind and start showing up more, right? And that's so, so powerful. Now, the details of how you work. What do you think about your job right now? What do you think about the things that you're doing? Have you been kind of just going through the motions, phoning things in, feeling like you're forcing yourself to do things? Now is the time to quit all of that stuff and get deep into a whole different groove. And in this new groove that you're going to get into, you're going to be bringing more of your personal magic to whatever it is that you're doing. And that might mean that if you're an example I gave earlier, if you're an accountant and you are working with numbers and you can't really do that in a flourish, maybe you meditate before you do your work so your mind is more clear and you feel better. Maybe you show up to do your work and you make your spreadsheets different colors that bring life to what you're doing. Maybe when you send emails to your clients, you add a special touch and you really communicate with them to make a connection. All those things, so small, right? They're so small, but man, do they make a difference. Every single person I hire or work with in any capacity, people who I patronize, businesses that I patronize, I really feel their energy. And I wonder if you feel the same. And when you're thinking about how to do the things that you're doing better, that's one big thing. So that is just epic. Another part of this retrograde that can be really, really helpful is to get into all the classic retrograde habits, reorganizing, re-energizing yourself, and also re-editing, rethinking, reviewing. So if you're about to release a book, it might be time to take another look at it and edit it. If you're about to start a new project, it might be time to go through the plans and really edit those plans and really review them and think about all the different facets and how everything can come to life even more. If you are about to do something new in your home or even new in your life, reorganize your workspace so that, again, it's more shining, it's more flowing. I have this planner that is like the soul of me in terms of work. I use a passion planner. They don't pay me to say this. I talk about it all the time, but this planner helps me so much because I can put so many details in it. It has all of these spaces where I can make lists and evaluate things and organize things and look at my day and say, oh, gee, I have too much going on in a day. That's not good. It starts to burn me out, even if it's good things. You want to make sure that you have space to create in your energy as well, which brings me to the next one, which is really resetting, refueling your energy. If you're doing too many things in a day, you might be burning yourself out from too much good. I never thought that was possible. I'm going to make a whole separate video on that throughout the year because it's such a big topic. I have burned myself out from too much excitement. Have you? Have you ever done that? I've done it frequently. And I refused to believe it was possible the first few times. And then I was forced to believe it was possible because it kept happening. So this is something to think about, really getting into more balance in your days. And it's just life-changing in so many ways. So as you can see already, thinking about this, all these things to do, can you see how retrograde can make your life better? Can you see how this time can be so invigorating? Rest more, sleep more, take more breaks, whatever it is for you that's going to fuel you. You may thrive by taking naps. You may thrive by spending more time zoning out or daydreaming. For some people, it might be meditation practices or going for walks where you're out in nature and your mind can be clear. For some of you, it might be sleeping more or sleeping more deeply. I sleep enough hours, but it came to my attention through multiple sources, multiple channels, recognizing even though I sleep enough, I wasn't sleeping deep enough because my mind is always going. And I needed to learn how to truly shut it down before I went to sleep. And I don't mean shut it down, just shutting off social media and things like that. I had to really learn to create space in my brain so that I could just shut everything down and really deeply recharge. And it makes a huge difference. So make sure you have enough space in your day. Make sure that you're waking up feeling exhilarated and not feeling exhausted, and do all the things you need to do to recharge. Right now, I'll grab my smoothie. I'm doing the medical medium. It's one of the, this is in the Thyroid Healing Medical Medium book. The mango, it's frozen mango and banana smoothie, which is like super, super good for your energy system and apparently for your adrenals, according to Anthony William. And I add in barley grass juice powder. So all these greens, and it is so helpful. This is one of the new things that I started doing that I brought back into my life during this Mercury retrograde. So what a difference it makes. For you, that might be drinking more water, something that you eat or drink that makes you feel amazing, taking vitamins, or again, something as simple as sleep. Another thing that's vital for me that I tend to ignore, I do it, but I tend to ignore the importance of it, is exercise. That can also be a form of rejuvenation, and it makes such a big difference. So think about that as well. Now, you're energized, you're organized, the details are all coming together. So now ask yourself, what is it that I want to really lean into? Intuition is so, so powerful. So your intuition is your major superpower. It's you and your inner guidance meeting up and really coming together and really utilizing this information. Not just cosmic intuition that comes from downloads from the universe. That's all awesome too. But you being true to you. So as you organize and revamp the things around you and dial in the details and bring more of yourself to everything around you, you may find yourself really hearing more of your intuition and follow it. It's one thing to have these gut feelings and these instincts, and it's another thing to actually honor them. Honor the wildness of your wild ideas. Honor the feeling, even if it makes no sense to you at the minute that it happens. Honor the strange things. All of these things are going to make an enormous difference. Every single great thing that I have ever created or that people have said has been great, that the feedback has been great, that things have moved in my life for me personally or creatively, has come from following a feeling. And I used to fight those feelings and try to fit myself into boxes. Do you do that? Do you fight against who you are and how you work and try to fit yourself into, I got to be like this, I got to be like that, this is the way to do it, it goes like this is how everyone else is doing it? And it was when I allowed myself to be as weird as I am in my own ways and allowed myself to honor those things and develop them, develop those skills, develop all those flashes of intuition. Everything started to move. And that's why I say this is like setting yourself up for success on a whole new level. When you can tap in and follow those feelings and honor those ideas and really get into them and research, develop your skills, take classes, get into the learning, and don't just learn, use it all. Use it all, assimilate it, bring things to life, cultivate your genius. That's what this year is really about. Cultivating your genius. If you missed the 2021 Feng Shui, it's linked for you. Well, it's on the channel. I think it's one of the featured videos right now as I'm filming this. And really all this innovation, all these breakthroughs, all these things are not because you're forcing yourself to be someone else. This is all about being you in the most awesome ways possible. So on that note, I'm going to check and see if everyone sent in. If you guys have questions, I'm happy to share it with you. Some of the things that I'm doing for this retrograde include finishing classes that I'm taking, because I'm always taking some sort of class that's unrelated to all things, like a painting class. I have a watercolor class to do. I have all sorts of art supplies to go pick up. I am organizing more stuff. The pantry is next. My whole desk is in the middle of this renovation. I showed you I have this amethyst that I just got. I have more things on my desk. They're all getting put together right now. That's my organization of my workspace. I've also showed you my planner. I'm getting into my planner more. Going to bed earlier. I'm having my smoothie that I showed you. I'm taking much longer breaks. And I'm getting myself ready, because once this retrograde is over, then we really dive into in the Feng Shui world that I'm in. The School of Intention professional training starts soon after. And also we start getting into the season of wealth and the cash camp. So I have a lot of people to quote unquote take care of. I have a lot of, I take it very seriously. So I know I need to create all sorts of optimal energy around me. So what are you going to do for this retrograde? How are you going to bring it to life for yourself? You've been doing a massive amount of inner healing lately. So if there's more healing to be done, I'm game. That's amazing. Now that you say that, I realize I even did this about a month ago. Makes so much sense, but never thought about this. That's incredible. I'm glad I caught some of this live. I am too. And if you guys have questions, please ask away, share things. And I really want you guys to be able to use this stuff. It's one thing to take things in, to have a lot of different information streaming in. But if there's something you can take away and use, that's the value in all this. And that is what my whole purpose is of making all these videos and doing this for you. So I hope you find things to enjoy this next 3 weeks up until the 20th and far beyond. I'll be back with so many more videos because we have the Lunar New Year of the Ox starting. We have more new moons. I'll be back for the new moon, all sorts of stuff. So someone's prepping to move, but the actual move is after March 1st. It's a good time to go through things and weed out what no longer serves so it doesn't get packed. Yes, I'm starting a part-time job next week and worried it was a bad time. Any advice for starting something and contracts and IT at this time? Yeah, don't even think about it. There were no computers when Mercury Retrograde was discovered. I just want you to remember that. There were no computers. This has nothing to do with anything. This has to do with just really paying attention to the details. So pay attention to the details of what you're doing, and it's going to make such a big difference for all the time. This isn't just, pay attention to the details for 3 weeks and then just be unconscious for the rest of your life, but pay attention to the details of the things you're signing, pay attention to the details of your job description, and ask questions if you want things to be clarified. There's nothing bad or wrong ever. It's funny, when I start a social media platform during a retrograde, I will just amazing things happen on the platform. It's a weird thing. So maybe I'll start a new social media platform. Maybe I'll do Clubhouse or something. But I love YouTube and I love TikTok too. So I'm good. but maybe, because why not? I love that you make Mercury retrograde less scary and more positive. Revisit, research, reevaluate. Absolutely. And there's nothing negative about anything. If you work with a great astrologer, I just had my whole chart done for the first time ever, which is so shocking considering all the things I'm into in the wellness world. I just had my chart done, and it was by an amazing astrologer. And one of the things she said right away is that there are no bad transits. There's nothing bad. And I was like, you speak my language. There's nothing bad ever. And there are people who have perfect astrological placements in their chart and perfect everything, and their lives suck. It's not about what's going on in the sky. It's about what you do. So never be afraid of anything that's happening. It doesn't matter what horoscope or whatever, and try not to read things that give you any of those negative impressions that anything bad is going to happen. You don't want to pick up those fears and those beliefs. You don't need those things. We don't need to be afraid. We've got enough to contend with in life. So trust you. And so if you're starting a new job, just get into it, get into the details of it. Amen. No bad transits, no bad things. Abraham Hicks confirms this as well. It's how we let it impact us that makes it negative. You're great at reminding of this too. You are so welcome. I am so emphatic about this because I've picked up so many negative things. And I don't know if you know this, but a lot of Feng Shui is really crazy, negative, scary stuff. I don't work that way. That's why I created my own method and why I had to test it for so many years and work for free and do all of this stuff, because I knew that there was a better way, because I knew that people shouldn't be scared, and that luck is not about what goes in a corner. Luck is about what you make. And all the time, not just at one time of year or one moon or one retrograde or one transit or one thing. Literally, it's all the time. But if you feel connected to all of these transits and all of these things, you can make the most of it by leaning into it. There's always something to do. There's always something to make better. There's always something to learn. There's always some way to grow inside and outside. So it can never be bad, right? And you have absolutely nothing to fear. And the more you let go of all that fear stuff, the more you're going to see that all times of the year are opportune and amazing things will always keep happening. So one of the best things I actually heard from Abraham Hicks was a guy who said he had voodoo spells put on him. And I've had a lot of people try to do stuff like that to me, and it's a whole other story. I'll maybe make a video on it one day or put it on the podcast. And I was listening to this because at first I was so freaked out, and the way that Abraham responded to this man was just tell them, keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep putting the spells on me. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. And I was like, yes. Nothing can have power over you unless you give it power. Yes. And I was like, fine. And it was funny because the more I started to understand that for myself, the more I was like, oh, I'm more powerful than someone's negative thing toward me or whatever's going on in the sky or the economy or anything else. In the cash camp this past year, the Feng Shui money camp, the money program, that's 8 weeks long and starts in March. Again, we did it twice last year because I was like, everyone's really focused on money during this pandemic. I want to be able to help. And oh my gosh, people made more money last year than they've ever made. So many people. I was shocked. I had no idea what was going to happen, but it was literally just saying, we get it. Something where it's happening in the world, but there's always opportunity everywhere. So live with that opportunity everywhere and make the most of this time. And you're going to have an amazing, amazing next few weeks, and you're going to have an amazing year. And I will be back with more stuff. We're going to do, as I said, the next new moon. I'm going to do a video, a whole actual video I'll film on the Lunar New Year and all sorts of stuff for the year of the ox. And there's lots and lots of cool things to come. And if you want me to make certain videos, just let me know. know. Leave me a comment. I will see it. I will make it. I have a few on the list that you guys have recommended. So thank you all for being here. Have an amazing Mercury retrograde, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.